Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of The Garden Girl. I am really excited to be here. It's the beginning of May, and of course I've been keeping track on our weather forecast, and our 10-day looks really good overall. Our lows aren't getting as low, thank goodness, no more teens, hopefully no more 20s. And our highs are getting higher. I see some 60 degrees, some 70 degree days again. So that makes me happy, it probably makes you guys happy, and I know it definitely makes these guys happy. So today, I am really excited about today because this is one of my favorite things that I love to do, and that's container gardening. Now, not that I don't like doing my flower beds, don't get me wrong, but I really like container gardening only because you can change it up every year. You know, in my perennial garden, in my flower bed, I have certain things that are perennials, and those guys are kind of permanent. You know, I don't like to mess with them too much. So I don't have as many outlets, I guess you would say, to change as much stuff up. So container gardening, I absolutely love because it allows, you know, your creativity is limitless. So what we're gonna do today is a few things. I'm gonna show you how to do an indoor herb garden. I'm also going to go into shade garden because I know in Tuscarawas County we have lots of trees, lots of hills, lots of valleys. A lot of people have shade. So we're gonna go over some different shade plants, and by no means is this end all be all. This is just a sample. And finally, we're gonna go into those ever popular and trendy mosquito planters. These mosquito plants and different things you can use for that. So stay tuned, grab a cup of coffee and a pen and notepad, and we'll be right back.
A nursing home or your own home, it's good to be home. So call Ember Complete Care for all of your home health needs. When you're recovering from illness or injury, our compassionate staff promotes healing in the most comfortable environment of all, your own home. For skilled nursing, physical therapy, wound care, and more, Ember Complete Care serves all of Tuscarawas, Coshocton, and Harrison counties. Call 800-462-0909. Ember Complete Care. It's good to be home.
We live in a fast-paced world. Say goodbye to searching books and search engines for all the answers. Now there's iTowns. From finding a place to dine or locating your family doctor, you can also check out the high school game of the week from TV2 Sports. Get your answer with just one click. iTowns has it all.
Today's episode is brought to you in part by Allure Hair Studio, located at 210 East 3rd Street in Uhrichsville.
Hi everybody, welcome back. I hope you got your pen and paper. Again, we're going to start in with an indoor herb garden. Now, you can plant herbs outside, and some of them are even perennials, so no worries if you're saying, well, I'm going to put mine outside. That's fine. A lot of people like to do some indoor-outdoor gardening. What I will say is if you are going to do your herbs outside, don't use a container with no drainage holes, unless it's going to be covered under a deck. You know, obviously you've seen the rain we've gotten in the last few days here, you know, towards the end of April. So you might have stuff floating, you know, and Lord only knows, we're hoping that the rain chills out a little bit. I'm getting to the point now where I'm ready to start allocating people to grab pairs of animals, and I'm actually going to start building an ark if this keeps up. So let's pray for some sunshine, definitely. And let's go into an indoor herb garden, something you can set in your kitchen on a windowsill. Most all of your herbs like to be a little on the drier side anyhow. So if you do have one without the drainage holes and you're not going to put it in a saucer, or on a saucer, I should say, you know, you don't have to worry as much about watering. Herbs tend to like it on the drier side. There's a few that really chuck through the water. You'll find that any of your mints, they really seem to go through it. Arugula seems to go through it, and dill. So you just kind of have to watch. There's a few things, and you know, obviously the bigger they get, if they're outdoors, the bigger they get, the more water they're going to go through, and it depends on your temperatures. You know, the warmer it is, obviously the more they're going to go through. But what we're going to do today is just a simple little kitchen herb garden. Now, I just picked out 3 of my own that I like, and I'm going to use just this little old container. You can be as creative as you want to be. You can use bowls, you can use anything. Again, just remember, without the drainage holes, don't water too much. So what I picked out some parsley, and I picked out oregano, because everybody seems to use oregano quite a bit. And then I picked out a little bit of thyme. And it'll have a nice effect, just 3. Again, you know, these plants are going to grow. It's early in the year. They're already really big for the most part. So don't be afraid to nip them back. And don't be afraid to buy them a little smaller, because obviously they're going to grow. What I'm going to do, I have a few rocks here. This is just, you can use whatever you want. You can use gravel out of your driveway and rinse it off real good. Any type of rock. I'm going to put a layer down here, because just in case I get a little crazy with the watering, and I do accidentally not pay attention due to being on the phone or something, I will have a layer of gravel here so the roots aren't sitting in it as they grow. So what we'll do here is just put a nice little layer, and nothing too much, because you want a lot of soil for them to grow in. But just a nice little layer. That's all we're doing here. You can see it barely covers the bottom, but it'll at least help keep the roots off. So at this point, we're going to have to get some soil down. Even though these are bigger plants, we're going to have to get some soil down so that the roots aren't sitting just on the gravel. So I'm going to get a nice little basin here, which you can see the gravel's all covered now. And this might be a good time to note, you notice I'm using a bag here of potting mix. You do not want to go out and dig out your own, don't go up in the woods and dig out soil. It's not a good idea. We have a high clay content for the most part. Most people seem to really complain that they have a lot of clay, it's really hard, you know, things die. You want to use a potting mix. It's lighter, it's pre-mixed, so it provides, you know, the stability to hold up the plant. It provides the nutrient holding capacity for the plant, but it also provides the aeration for the plant. So I like Miracle-Gro. That's me. I also like Osmocote. And the other reason that I know some of you guys are going to say, well, gosh, I can just go get the cheap potting soil. Well, yeah, but it might not have fertilizer in it. So, and that's fine. You can do that. You just need to be prepared to put either a slow release or use a Miracle-Gro or some type of liquid, whether it's Jack's or whatnot, or your own little homemade brew. But I do like potting mix, the pre-mixed. You know, Miracle-Gro itself, it's got enough in here that it's going to get you through 6 months of fertilizing if you didn't add to it. And a lot of people don't. I understand that. Me, I do. I still will use my potting mix. But what we're going to do, if you look real close, you'll see that it's very nice. It's very loose. And it's got those little white stuff in it. That little white stuff's a good thing. So anyhow, without further ado, we'll pot this up. Now, oregano kind of likes to trail a little bit. It has upright, but it likes to trail. If you pick up this pot, you can see that it's got a good root system on it and a nice healthy root system. This is what you want to look for. So if I set it down like this, I'm going to be right up to the top. You don't want that. You need a little bit of room so that when you do put some water in, it doesn't spill out over the edge. So all we're going to do is kind of tease apart the roots and set it down in just so that you've got enough room here to actually get, you know, some water in there. I'm going to put my parsley in the middle since parsley likes to grow a little tall. And again, we've got a good, nice root system on here. So we're going to spread this apart and we're going to put him right beside it here. And then last but not least, I picked some thyme. It can be dried, it can be used in many different things. And again, we're just going to tease them apart and we're going to fit him in. Now notice I'm not throwing him this way. I'm going to throw him this way because it's giving me the most amount of space. As you can see, let me move this guy out of the way. you know, that's a pretty good size. We're talking the beginning of May here. So I'm going to try to keep them going their own little directions. Now, what I'm going to do is I will add in, just kind of like we did with the shoe garden, how I talked to the kids, all we're going to do is add in some soil. Now, I'm not going to sit here and smash it down in. Remember, roots need air too. They don't like to be compacted. So you just kind of want to get your fingers down in. And I know we did this with the little Easter container that we made, but just lightly, take your time and lightly, and you're going to make a mess. That's normal. That's the fun part of it. Hey, it's the one place where, again, it's okay to get dirty. So now that we have all these kind of tucked in, you would generally just lightly water them in. Just lightly. Don't soak it. Again, we don't have drainage holes here, so you're not going to soak it. You're just going to give it enough moisture that those roots can start utilizing the nutrients in this slow release formula and grow and be happy. So with that being said, it took us what? A whopping 8 minutes, maybe 5 minutes to do this. It's very easy to do. You can clean it up, brush it off, and you have your instant little herb garden, and you can start cutting right away and drying and keeping it nipped back all you like. So that's how easy it is. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to talk about some shade containers.
In 2008, we were notified that our funding would be, our corporate funding would be reduced. So we were very much struggling in 2009. The Tuscarawas County Community Foundation came in like a white knight on a horse and saved the Art Center. Now that looks like we're going to be here forever, people are coming in and more willing to support the organization and help us achieve our mission.
Hi, I'm Elaine Miller with Naturally Green Cleaning Service. My company serves both commercial and residential clients. We do general cleaning, spring and fall, empty homes to get them move-in ready, and final cleans for new construction. We use eco-friendly cleaning products that leave your home or office fresh, clean, and safe for you, your family, pets, or coworkers. Our focus at Naturally Green is to provide excellent customer service paired with outstanding work to build a relationship of trust with you, our clients. Having served the area 4+ years, we have had many referrals and testimonials that you can access on our website at www.naturallygreencs.com. Our work sells itself, therefore we have never had any contracts even with our largest commercial accounts. Call us today for your free quote and see what makes our company stand out.
Hi guys, welcome back. Okay, so now we're on to the next set. You've got your indoor herb garden. So now you're saying, well, Heather, I have a shady spot or one that just kind of gets some morning sun. What can I put there? You have a lot of choices. You know, these plant breeders, they come out with new stuff every year. And there's some good old standbys. But a lot of people, if you're like me, I like to try the new stuff. I like to kind of do different types of containers, not that you see, you know, the same old, your red, white, and blue geraniums or, sorry, purple geraniums and your petunias. I like to mix things up a little bit. So with shade plants, a couple things that I'm going to clue you in on is one, you always want to check the labels. Again, I can't say it enough. You really want to check your labels to make sure that the plant is being put in the right spot. That's probably one of the biggest things that I think helps with success is putting the right plant in the right place. With that being said, anytime you build your containers, I know when you see pictures in the magazines, they're big and beautiful, but you need to understand those plants, they have been growing for a long time. And when I say a long time, I'm talking months and months and months to get them to that mature, picture-perfect stage. And they're very staged. I mean, they're nipped back, they're kept cut. So you want to bear that in mind. And what I like to see when people do their own containers, I don't like to see people overstuff them. Now, if it's for a graduation party, I know some of you guys are having graduation parties for your kids this year. Sure, for an event, absolutely, you can, and then just obviously take it apart when you're done and give it the correct amount of space. I don't like to see them stuffed though, so what we're gonna do, the other thing I wanna go over is some design basics. You have what we call, and they came out with this term a couple years back, thrillers, fillers, and spillers. And Proven Winners came out with it, and it was really easy for everybody to remember. And what a thriller, filler, and spiller is you have your spillers that are going to track down over the edge. Now, some of those for in the shade, gosh, let go of that, would be your Tarina. I like Tarina. I think it's one of the brighter colored ones that will trail. It's easy to deadhead. They bloom, especially, again, in the potting mix that already has the fertilizer built in. It makes life a lot easier. So a filler is going to be something such as your ferns. I love the little maidenhair ferns. I love the texture on them. I think they're very soft looking. They're full. If they get too full, you just take your scissors and nip them. I really like the color on them, but the texture is the biggest thing. So your fillers are going to be such things as even the oxalis. Oxalis is cute. It puts out the white. It's got a neat contrast, and it'll go with everything. But that's kind of going to fill your pot. Then you've got to add your height, or what they call the thriller plant, which is either height or your mainstay plant. Now, the thriller plant can also be your big pop of color. That's normal. New Guinea impatiens are great for that. They're very good for that. They've got a nice big flower on them, just like the begonias. Like I said, I couldn't bring everything. It would just be too much. So another one of your trailers that a lot of people use, and they say, well, I have mine in the sun. Sure, you can. These guys, the sweet potato vine will grow just about anywhere. These are wonderful. The one catch I want to tell you is be prepared with your scissors. You know, once you get these planted and they really start maturing, I know mine last year was not only trailing on the ground from my large container, but tracking on the ground about 3 foot. So again, you want to take out your nippers and make sure you're staying after them as they grow. Another thing I like to do is when I pick my containers for a shady spot, I do like my lighter colored containers. I really do. I think they help pull. You know, they get the eye to go there and bring some lightness. When you pick your containers out, a design rule of thumb, which, yeah, you can do whatever you want. You really can. I mean, it's totally up to what you like. But one thing that they always talk about is the height. You know, you don't want something just flat and trailing over. Obviously, the taller your container is, the taller you want your specimen plant or your height plant. I like this Spiral Rush. I think it's crazy looking, it's cool, it's different, and it really, it adds a wow factor to it. And again, this is something where once I pot them up, if I don't like that piece and I don't like this piece, I'm cutting it off. I'll simply cut it off. It does not hurt the plant. So what I'll do usually is before we're not going to actually pot this up today because obviously, as you've seen on the last couple episodes, everything should stay flush except for our tomatoes. Everything should stay flush. You should go approximately 1 inch down so that you have that room for watering to collect when you're watering. And then also going into, you know, the watering and the fertilizing, you're going to use your regular potting mix. So if you decide not to, or you decide, just FYI, if you decide to buy pre-purchased containers, which is great too, it's a time saver, just be prepared to fertilize it. A lot of those are not given slow release. They're on a consistent fertilization liquid program. So be prepared to get I like pot shots. I've loved them ever since they've come out. I think they're easy. They're nuggets. You shove them down in and you're good to go. So I really like these. And you can look on the back, the size of your container, once you measure it, is how many nuggets you put in. But little goes a long way. If not, you need to get yourself, again, some Miracle-Gro or some fertilizer. But when you're doing your own, you can use your pot shots. You can use the potting mix that has the fertilizer already built in, or you can choose to use your Miracle-Gro. What I like to do, though, once I get my container and my plants, is I like to figure out how I'm going to place them in. And believe me, you can do that at the stores. Nobody cares. Usually a lot of people will help. I know sometimes it's easier to get help at the garden centers, obviously, and your smaller mom and pop shops than it is your box stores. So if that's a concern of yours, I strongly suggest you hit up one of the garden centers or one of the smaller greenhouses. We're going to cut to a break, but when we come back, we're going to put this all together for you. And I'm going to show you how to place these. And then from there, we'll get to go into our last little tidbit of our lovely little mosquito planter. So stay tuned and be right back.
Hi, I'm 1450 WJER's Bill Morgan, inviting you to join me on television Wednesday evenings at 7 and Friday afternoons at 5 for TV2 Sports Talk. Sports Talk is your weekly look inside high school football, volleyball, soccer, and more. Look for guest appearances from your favorite area coaches and players. TV2 Sports Talk, Wednesday evenings at 7 and Friday afternoons at 5 on DMG Channel 2 on Time Warner Cable.
A nursing home or your own home, it's good to be home. So call Ember Complete Care for all of your home health needs. When you're recovering from illness or injury, our compassionate staff promotes healing in the most comfortable environment of all, your own home. For skilled nursing, physical therapy, wound care, and more, Ember Complete Care serves all of Tuscarawas, Coshocton, and Harrison counties. Call 800-462-0909. Ember Complete Care. It's good to be home.
Today's episode is brought to you in part by Allure Hair Studio, located at 210 East 3rd Street in Yerkesville.
Hi guys, welcome back. Okay, so let's put this together. Now, for me, I'm going to use the Spiral Rush, like I said. Well, I really like this Oxalis. So if I'm going to look at something, I may play around with a couple different things. I like how the lime green sweet potato vine kind of plays off of the stem, plays off of the blue, and in contrast. So I might set that in there and say, okay, well, that's perfect. And for this size container, obviously, it's full already. So 3's enough. And that's something else I like to do. I always like to plant in odds. So whether it's 1, 3, 5, that's kind of another designer rule of thumb. And the same thing with the height of the container. As I said, roughly they say 1.5 times the height of the container. So that's what you want to see. Again, you don't have to stick to it, but you could. My other option here was my Turina. I really like this too. I like how this is going to trail over. It's going to have some upright. It's going to fill in. The white plays off the white, and the purple plays off the purple. So it's really, really neat. Something else I can do, last but not least, if I wanted the darker colors to play against, I know one of the new trends is to use perennials. So I can get myself a nice little perennial such as this Coral Bell. I can place it in here. And I can even switch this out if I want and have more trailers, since I know that this Coral Bell is really going to fill in. So again, play around. Stick some pots in your container and see what you like. It's limitless. It's limitless. And as I said, if you go to one of your garden centers or one of your smaller mom and pop places, chances are you're going to get a lot more help. Okay, so with that being said, let's move on to the last little trend that we've been seeing. And everybody knows it's all over Pinterest. It's very popular. And that's these mosquito planters. Do they work? I don't know. Some people say they do, some don't. But they sure are pretty, so why not? If you have a deck and you want to try one, it's a great idea. Some of the plants, and this is only some of them, we've got some catnip here, which is great. It can actually be used. You can use some of the dry leaves and stuff your cat toys with it if you have cats. We have the lemon thyme, which I absolutely love this stuff. It smells like lemon pledge, but it's awesome. And you can actually clip it and use it in your dishes. Not in your dishes, like don't throw it in your cupboard, but you know, in your cooking dishes. So this here again, we've got the trailer. We're always going to keep our trailers towards the front. We've got our lemongrass. This is the one that everybody, this is a big trend this year. Everybody's after it. So here's your height. We have our height. So again, you can space it out. If you want more lemongrass, you can. Just know that it's going to get big. And we put our catnip in, obviously to fill. And then our last two little ones is the lemon gem. They're saying the lemon gem marigold, which I would agree with that. Marigolds, I love marigolds, but they don't smell very good. So I can see why that would deter about anything but slugs, of course. So you can use these as your color, and you can buy these in the nice little cell packs where you're going to space them around. You'll just kind of fill in one here, one there, one off to the side. And then your ageratum. This has been in all the containers. I don't personally understand how or why it works, but hey, it's purple, it's pretty, it flowers, why not? So again, you can space some of these in throughout, but again, try not to jam it because they're going to grow and you're going to have to nip them back. So don't overstuff them at first. But these are some of the plants that are real popular for your container gardens if you want to try the mosquito planter. And just have fun with it. The citronella plant's another one. It's like a scented geranium. You should be able to find those pretty easily everywhere, but a lot of people use those too. Some people swear by them. I have some people that have them every year and they swear by them. So you could do your own little container with those as well. It's kind of funny. I don't really have a question of the week because I kind of handled it already. A lot of people have been asking about the shade containers. It seems like we have a lot of shady areas. Again, so my question of the week was actually shade containers, so I hope I answered that question really well. The word of the week is going to tie in with the potting mix. Somebody asked me, what is perlite and why should I use it? I've seen it talked about. Well, perlite is these cute little white things in here that you're seeing. Remember when I said they add aeration? Well, one of the things that they're also very useful for is to fill up huge pots. I mean, understand that the pottery is not light. And if you go getting big deck pots, they're really heavy and you do not want to have to move them or fill the whole thing up with sand any more than possible because they will break your back. So what a lot of people will do, and what I've done myself, is just get bags of perlite. It fills the space, it gives aeration for the roots to grow down in, and it really lightens the load. Trust me, it really lightens the load. So the word of the week is perlite, and that's the many uses for it. Not only does it aerate through your potting mixes, but you can use it as a pot filler, big time as a pot filler. So with that being said, I hope everybody had fun and learned a little something this week, and I'm going to say stay tuned for the surprises next week. Happy planting, everybody.